Peace talks between Sudan's warring sides are underway in Geneva, Switzerland. For more than a year, the African country has been dealing with a devastating civil war, which, according to the Wall Street Journal, has led to the deaths of more than 150,000 people and displaced millions more. The U.S.-led negotiations began Wednesday as the United Nations warns the humanitarian situation in Sudan is at a, quote, catastrophic breaking point. For more, let's bring in Ben Solomon. He is a senior video correspondent for the Wall Street Journal. Ben, thanks for being with us. You visited there recently. How hard was it?
Sudan is truly one of the most devastating conflicts I've covered in 14 years of conflict journalism. It is unbelievable to see so much of the country and how much it's been affected and how much of the cities have been destroyed. It's an impressive scale of destruction, even compared to a lot of the enormous calamity and conflicts that we're seeing around the world presently. It was important for us, my colleagues Gabrielle Steinhauser and Adrienne Supranal of the Wall Street Journal, to go and cover this. And really just having the 10 days that we had there was just a glimpse or small glimpse into just the enormity of the conflict and how bad it's gotten after over 16 months of conflict.
We're watching some of the video that you shot, perhaps your colleagues as well, just the suffering that you all witnessed in your brief time there. Let's talk about the negotiations. When they began this week, neither side showed up. Today, the U.S. Special Envoy for Sudan, Tom Perriello, posted on X in part, the RSF remains here ready for talks to start. SAF needs to decide to come. Why isn't the Sudanese government there?
Well, the Sudanese armed forces, who's now in the lead of the government, has said that they will not go if the RSF is there. They have complained that the United Arab Emirates, who is a part of the talks, their invitation to the talks, they are protesting it because the United Arab Emirates has been reported to be given the RSF arms, financial support, and a lot of the backing over the 16 months of this conflict. So really, it's a way for the Sudanese armed forces to say, you know, with so much that's happening and so much of the things that we don't approve of, we're not going to be a part of these talks. They also say that they don't want to lend legitimacy to the RSF. The Rapid Support Forces is a paramilitary group. And because now they're at the talking table with the Sudanese armed forces, they say that in doing that, they're giving them the power and the equivalency of the same negotiating position, where in fact, the Sudanese armed forces is the in-power government of this country. It's a more complicated and each day, and it's more kind of problems that arise. But really, the Sudanese armed forces is just saying that they are protesting anyone that is in support of the RSF at this point.
What are your expectations for talks?
Well, you know, these aren't the first talks. There's been 16 months of talks, mostly in Saudi Arabia, and there has been really little that has changed. In May of last year, there was even an agreement that didn't last more than a few days before the aggressions continued. But more than what I've seen, you know, we talked to Sudanese people on the ground, and what they're telling us is that no one really sees any changes. A lot of the people that we've interviewed and talked to really don't expect much from talks, especially where neither of the two sides are even at these talks. There's not a lot of trust in the American government who are putting it up. A lot of the Sudanese people that we've talked to have said, you know, the U.S. envoy has never even stepped foot since the fighting began in Sudan. So there's just not a lot of trust and emphasis put on what's happening in Switzerland, so far away from the fighting that just continues to get worse and worse.
I don't have a lot of time with you left, but it seems like so much of the world's attention is focused on other conflicts. What's happening in Gaza, what's happening in Ukraine. What do people need there? What needs to be done to raise this issue and ease the humanitarian crisis?
Well, I think that the thing that, amidst all of the destruction, amidst all of the just kind of unconditional fighting that's happening all the time, I would say the thing that was the most impressive to me and my colleagues was the hope of the people and the support of each other. Everybody is doing what they can to help the more than 10 million displaced from their homes, taking in orphan children, taking in families that are displaced. The people over there are really stepping up in the absence of support of humanitarian aid getting in. So really, the idea of these people that are supporting this fight and helping people is really the thing that's giving me the most hope for what can happen. But without full support from these governments and pressing talks to have these powers come to the table, it's still anybody's guess on how this could end.
Ben Solomon, I hope you will come back and keep us updated. Thank you.